I've known about the Warrens since I was very young, I guess.
And I'm 72 years old.
What do you make of that voice?
Sounds confused. Is he senile?
The voice on this tape is coming from an 11-year-old girl.
It's definitely people that you come across, if you're fascinated about the world of the supernatural, and and if you do any kind of research, their names always pop up. They've been around for so long, and they've investigated so many cases.
They're calling it England's Amityville. There is a family that desperately needs our help.
When I finally got to Hollywood, I've always kept an eye out for the rights to their life stories, and when finally the life rights came up, I jumped at the opportunity to kind of go in there and say, hey, I put up my hand and say, I would love to tell the stories of Anne and Lorraine Warren. I love who they are. I love what they do. And yes, when I made the first Conjuring, I really wanted to talk to, obviously I talked to Lorraine, and I talked to Lorraine's family members close to her, just to get an idea and an insight into who she and Ed was back then, and and that better helps inform my filmmaking. Well, I think the Warrens are probably most famous for the Amityville story. That was the one that made them infamous, and I think I wanted to tell a parallel story to that particular case, and so there's a lot of similarities between Enfield and Amityville, and if you look at them, right, they're both cases that are highly publicized, lots of media coverage, and also both stories have their fair share of skeptics as well, and I just think that there's such interesting dynamics between the two, and I just thought it would make for a great sequel.
Like I'm being used.
Janet, are you alright?
Stop calling me Janet.
That is the demon, the entity that haunts Lorraine, and I needed to come up with an image because the world that the Warrens live in is it's very religious, it's very spiritual, and I feel like any sort of evil entity that would want to haunt them would take something that's very close to their heart, that's very dear, and turn it around on its head. And so in this case, it wants to take an image that's very, very important to Lorraine, that of of nunnery and the look of the nun, and use that to kind of fight Lorraine's faith.
You are going to die.
You cannot have a scary movie without an important soundtrack or music, right? Look back at all the horror movies that we love, like Jaws. Jaws is one of the scariest films, and John Williams' score did so much to help. Those shots where the camera's just moving through the water and you never actually see the shark, but you know that the shark is there because of the music. And sometimes the absence of the score is just as important as well when everything just goes quiet. That is also kind of frightening too.